You know, there's certain characters from literature when you hear the name, you're just like, oh, I know who that is. So if I say Tom Cullen, you know I'm talking about Stephen King's The Stand. You know we got the series coming up on CBS All Access. It's going to be happening on December the 17th, and this guy's going to be playing that very character. It's Brad William Henke. What's up, man?
How you doing? It's great to be here.
Good, man. Good. Now, I mean, it's crazy to think actually that The Stand is what, like 40, almost a little over 40 years old now. So were you a fan of the book before you actually signed on for the series?
No, I wasn't. I mean, not that I wasn't a fan. I had not read the book before I was offered the role, and then when I was offered the role, I like, okay, I'm gonna read that book real quick, and then it's
Oh, yeah.
900 pages.
Right,
So,
right.
so I started reading the book, and then they sent me the first four scripts, and so then I read those scripts. That's how I before I accepted the job. But then I read the book, and I also did it on tape because uh, we shot up in Vancouver, so on the drive and everything, I was always listening to the book on tape.
What was that kind of like actually doing that concurrently? Did you like reading the book while you're reading the scripts? Was that, did you see the differences even more there when you're doing it that way, you think?
I tried to, anytime you've read a book, then you see the movie, you go, oh, that wasn't in there.
Right.
Why didn't they put that in there? It's almost like I liked it this time that I read the scripts first. And so then I wasn't, that was my initial thoughts. And then everything else I could just add to it. So I would just try to, every time, especially at the beginning, before I went to go do a scene, I would listen to the book on tape scene,
Mhm.
and so much more was going on, so much more detail because they had more time, and I would try to throw some of those things in.
Nice, nice. Now we know that based on the story, there's a lot of aspects to Tom Cullen's personality. So how did you kind of prepare for such a multifaceted character?
Well, it's like you could make a mistake of making it so one dimensional. And to be honest with you, it was I liked the role because it's a role you could fall on your face. Do you know what I mean? You could do it
Oh yeah,
terribly.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was a worry. You know what I mean? And so that was a worry all the time. And so I just tried to there was a guy a few years older than me when I went to high school who he hurt his head playing college football. His name was Ed Reinhardt Jr. and he a blood clot burst in his brain, and so the rest of his life he was not the same. And what he said to me one time is, "In here, still me." And that just broke my heart because he couldn't communicate. He couldn't, and so I really took a lot of that. Like in here, it's me. I'm having these thoughts, but it doesn't translate as much. And so I just tried to really. I would. A lot of my scenes were always shot at like I don't know why at like 2 in the morning. So I would like from 2 to 6 all the time. I'd be one scene and it starts at that time. So I would go there, get there like 2 hours early,
Mhm.
and listen to this sleep meditation, and to kind of like just blank out my mind,
Oh
just going
wow.
through the scenes, just like with that, like they'd have to wake me up, we're gonna go shoot, and I had worked on this stuff so much, maybe, and 2 weeks prior I would always want to be off book, and so then I would just have no thinking, not have to use my mind on those nights, and just I would just in my preparation, I thought, oh, this could happen or this could happen, but I really did. They said action, and I just responded to whatever happened. It
Excellent,
was it was
excellent.
it's the best. It's the most. I've never had an acting job where I had 3 months to prepare in my life, and so having 3 months to prepare was just. I was like, oh shit, this is what I can do with 3 months to
Yeah.
prepare. You know what I mean? And it was great that it was in Vancouver because it was raining all the time, and I had this apartment, and I had my two little dogs with me, and I just really isolated myself. I just really thought so far this is the role of my life. Do you know what I mean? If I do
Mhm.
something with this, so I'm just going to, I can't say when I was first working on it, I walked around some days as Tom just to see, how that, because no one knew, you know what I mean?
Oh, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes they go, hey, aren't you the guy from Orange is the New Black? Yeah, yeah, but I'm doing it. But that was great because I could just, by the time we were shooting it, there was zero trying. Do you know what I mean? I really would come in that space of just trying to survive and do minute by minute, just make minute by minute decisions.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't make what's going to happen in 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like they said, like Donald Trump likes to win the day of media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just like to win the day of just surviving. That's it.
There you go, man. There you go. I mean, you're talking about kind of isolating yourself. I mean, little do we know that's kind of the thing to do nowadays.
Oh, I was ready for this, man.
Yeah,
I've been
apparently
doing
you
it
were.
for 6 months. Yeah,
Who knew, man? Who knew? I mean, we're literally going through the pandemic right now. That very much ties into the story of the stand. So, how relevant do you actually think this story is going to be to our current situation? Maybe.
Well, you know, when you see like people fighting each other, do you know what I mean? Like right now, like it's like that really resonates because that's what happened. People said, "I'm on this team. I'm on this team," and you know, it seems like that's kind of what we're doing now. And I think that's a lesson that doesn't work.
Yeah, I think you got that right. I think you definitely got that right. I mean, on the flip side of that, though, I mean, you've to say you've been an all-star cast for the stand. I mean, that's an understatement, man. Who's kind of your favorite person to do scenes with? Not trying to get you in trouble or anything, but did you have a favorite person to like do scenes with?
Well, most of my scenes were with Henry Zaga, and I loved working with him. And he's just he's a great actor, but he's a sweet, I say kid, but he's a sweet guy, and he just like we worked so well together. And this one time, when in the scene where we were going to meet Whoopi, in between takes, you can't really see it. I saw it, but in between takes, they came by. Does anyone want any chocolate? And I was like, yeah. And I was eating this chocolate. I was eating it. And Henry's like, you have to do that in the scene. You know what I mean? And so I don't know if you can tell, but when I'm walking in that scene, I'm eating this chocolate. But it was just fun. You know, it was just fun and creative like that. You know, he was just a great guy to work with.
Awesome. Now things are pretty. I mean, that seems like a pretty nice way to kind of unwind when you guys aren't shooting. Did you guys kind of do anything else? I mean, because it's pretty dark, pretty serious. The show is. So did you guys do anything else, like when cameras weren't rolling, to kind of lighten things up a bit?
They did. They would sing a lot of songs and hang out in this tent, but I would just sit by myself. Not because I didn't love them. I liked them all a lot. I just wanted to this was like my like I said, this was my art piece, you know? And so I just wanted to stay in that space. And I mean, it's not like I didn't talk to anyone, but I would just
Sure. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I just like to sit over there, you know, and I listen to him sing. Yeah. But I just like to, you know, save it too. Cause also too, I feel like if you're just like, hey, how you doing? And then you're Tom, even in the scene, you know what I mean? I just kind of, it's not like I was talking like Tom when I was out there, but I just carried myself with that energy.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, just based on the trailers alone, for anyone who might be coming into the series fresh, I mean, the Boulder Free Zone seems like a very interesting place. So how would you describe it?
Well, I mean, I would just say, as my character, I just call it home. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like home. And it was a place where, you know, people are trying to get along, but my character just simply looked like it as a safe landing spot. You know, if you were, what I was just watching that documentary, my octopus. Did you ever see that? Anyway, this guy under the sea becomes friends with this octopus, and so I just kind of felt like that's how I was always trying to survive, and then I could just take a deep breath there.
That makes sense. I got to check that out, man. Guy befriends an octopus. That's
on the list. You got to watch it. It's incredible.
That sounds incredible. So now we know that there's kind of a battle between good and evil going on here in the stand. And I mean, the Dark Man, that's an intimidating name. Never mind intimidating figure. So what would you say kind of makes him the most dangerous? Of course, try not to spoil anything.
His power to make other people do his dark deeds, and his power to influence other people to follow him, you know, and make them feel like that's the way to go. You know, again, it could be happening right now. You know what I mean? Like it's like, yeah. So I think that was his main power is people believed in him.
So now fans of the book know that Tom was quite a decorator. Actually, that's one of the little details that people might not remember. So I have to ask, do you think, given the way this year's gone, do you think Tom would already be putting his Christmas decorations up or what?
I think Tom would wait till the day after Thanksgiving, but of course he would put it up. Yeah. In fact, when I was in Vancouver shooting this, I got there. I was there a little bit in October, but from November when I got my place, I got a Christmas tree because it was just rainy. It felt like Christmas there, and I left it up.
Nice. I love it.
It up till I left in March. So I was a lot like Tom. I was doing my porch and lights, and I was being him.
I love that, man. I love that. So now, Brad, before I let you go, I mean, is there a particular episode in the series that you're really looking forward to fans seeing, or did you have a favorite episode that involves Tom? You're like, oh, when people see this, they're gonna freak out.
I think, I just think they're gonna freak out about what I'm able to accomplish. I can't really say. Do you know what I mean? But I just
I know what you mean because I know the story.
Yeah.
But
I think that they're gonna be surprised of what I can do, and what I can survive and what I can go through, because of loyalty to the few people that have been nice to me in my life. I think that's what motivates Tom is these people talk to him like a person and try to understand him and have conversations with them. And I think that's why I'm so loyal to them.
How hard is it for you to not just burst out and want to talk about this to everybody you know because you just know how amazing it's going to be? Because for me, I'd be sitting there like, I so want to tell you about the thing, but I can't tell you about the thing.
I'm excited for it to come out because, like I said, I feel like, also too, I would think, man, my character's so great. Like, this is the best character I've ever played. And then I do a scene with, oh my God, their character is amazing too. Oh shit, their character is amazing too. You know what I mean? So it felt, that was exciting because it felt like, whoa, there's a really high bar and we're all going up here. So I think the show is going to be awesome.
We're all going to find out together, man. The Stand's going to come out on CBS All Access Thursday, December the 17th, then every week after that. So you get to let it breathe a little bit, right? It's going to be really good. I like the weekly release schedule they got going.
You like that?
Thing. I do. Well, for this particular show, I definitely do. Because I think you're going to need to let it breathe for a week. There's going to be times where you're going to see an episode and you're like, okay, all right. I got a week to prepare for the next one.
I almost watched the whole season of Handmaid's Tale in like one day and all night, and I feel like I went into a depression.
Yeah, you went into a funk. Exactly. That happens to me with shows too. It's like, oh my God, I need to watch I don't know, cartoons or something now. Jeez.
Yeah. And when I got the first 4 episodes, I'm like, oh shit, this is intense.
Yeah.
I really think, I like you're saying how hard it is. I try to not sell anything I'm in, you know what I mean? But like, it's really good. It's a really good show. I think people are going to love it. And I think that, I thought, well, will they like it with all that's going on? And I think they will. I think they really will, because it's like, this is what could happen if it went too far,
Absolutely, man. And like I said, we'll find out together. December the 17th, right. The Stand begins on CBS All Access. Right. Wait till you see what this guy does. Yeah. Tom, it's Brad William Henke. Thank you so much for joining me, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.